Zoo Boys, Chapter 12, Part B. Dave tossed another riddle or bad dad joke their way. What happened when a frog's car breaks down? Oh, I think I know this one, Jeremy was quick to tell them. Dave answered before allowing Jeremy to even try to answer. It gets towed. Yeah, I knew that one. You just didn't give time to answer. No fair. Do over. Jeremy protested while Dave gloated in the amusement of defeating his own peer. Jeremy sputtered, Oh, okay. How did you get a dog Okay. How do you get a dog to stop barking in the back seat of your car? Move him to the front seat. Jeremy was proud. None of them laughed at that, but at least none of them said it was stupid. Dave's joke reminded John of another one. What did the bus driver say to the frog? Hop on! Ha ha! Hop on! It was yet another bad dad joke. Emphasis on the bad. That wasn't really all that funny, but it was age appropriate. They enjoyed things that adults would consider just plain dumb or too silly. As they walked, they came to where one path led to the right and another veered off to the left. That gave Ronnie inspiration enough to offer at least one more joke. Where do cars get the most flat tires? Where there's a fork in the road. Jeremy just caught on to one that was mentioned earlier. The words came out of his mouth, missing any kind of filtration. Oh, don't look now, I'm changing, Ronnie asked. You are just now getting that? Jeremy wouldn't admit. No, not just now. I was just remembering it, that's all. He hoped they didn't give much thought to his embarrassment. John asked Jeremy, which way do you think we should go, Jeremy? Dave spoke up as if speaking for all of them. He don't know. Dave often thought his opinions were actually facts, and the only thing that should really matter to everyone was what his opinion was. I'm sorry, I blew that. Dave often thought his opinion was actually facts, and the only thing that should matter to everyone else. John said, Well, I don't know either. Do you know, Ron? Ronnie stepped up to the plate. I say we go to the right because the right can't be wrong. Dave had to admit that was pretty clever coming from the youngest among them. Yeah, okay. And if you're wrong, we'll blame you. Ronnie had not anticipated that. He wasn't sure if offering those directions would end up making him look good. He shot another joke their way to keep things on the lighter side. Okay, what did the guy say when the cop pulled him over for driving in circles? He told the cop, I'm just going out for a spin. Oh, brother, that was all Dave could offer. While they were just standing there, Quasi started walking toward the left trail. They noticed him stop to look back at them as if to ask, Are you coming? Quasi had never taken the lead before. Without saying anything, John followed Quasi. The other two joined him with Ronnie while Ronnie just stood there looking at the trail on the right. He was slightly tempted to let them go left while he ventured to the right. His wiser wits considered how dangerous it could be to separate himself from the rest of the gang, so he too followed Quasi to the left. He thought, hey, if this is wrong, then at least they won't blame me. He smiled contently. He was just now realizing that it was Quasi who led them to the food in that restaurant, and that if they had followed Quasi out of the restaurant, they could have avoided the octopus attack. Quasi was usually traveling in the back of the line, but when she did take the lead, she was proving she knew best. After that, a quick thought, Ron recalled another one-line joke. This one, he ran over in his head first. How's that go again? Something about a barber being a good driver because, oh yeah, Ronnie blurted out just the punchline, because he knows all the shortcuts. Dave shouted back, what? Nothing. Yeah, that's what I thought. Dave had no idea Ronnie was just finishing a joke and delivering only the punchline. Everything was taken personal. Dave thought for sure his younger friend was saying something about their decision to go a different way, a different direction than him. Many times, Ronnie was misunderstood. The only area he really shined was in his ability to write. Well, not so much the actual writing, grammar, and spelling part, but in his ability to make up a good story or two. He not only enjoyed putting things down on paper with pencil, it served him well too. It allowed him one of the few opportunities to be admired, to have a sense of self-confidence and accomplishment. That was more rewarding than getting money from the Tooth Fairy, which he was pretty sure could just be his mom and dad anyway. Over the next few years, all of them were about to discover who they were, what they could offer, along with some cold hard facts, all just part of growing up. As the boys carried forward on, Quasi dropped back once again to the end of their line. They were all coming to the end of the last few jokes and riddles they knew. Jeremy thought about how tired his legs were getting. That inspired him. You know, I can never get my bicycle to stand up by itself. You know why? He planted the seed, only to have it dug up by Dave saying, "'Cause you're dumb." Jeremy contributed anyway. He was hoping it would make Dave look like the stupid one. "No, you're I can't ever get my bike to stand up by itself because it's too tired. See?" Dave mocked. "Hardy har har, jar idiot." Ronnie was still catching up. "I liked it, Jeremy. Hey, I got one." The boys were growing tired, but not too tired to still pass the time yelling at each other and trying to stump their friends with a few more really bad punchlines. Ronnie led with, "Ready? Why was the man driving in a swimsuit?" "Because he was in a carpool." They didn't give Ron credit, but they did laugh. I'm sorry. They wouldn't give Ron credit, but they did laugh, and that was just enough for him to feel like he fit in. John asked Ron, "You got another one?" Dave raised his voice. "No, he doesn't." Okay, I'm sorry, I messed up here, I think. John asked Ron, "You got another one?" Dave raised his voice. "No, he doesn't, but I do. Ready? Okay, ready? First person to answer gets, something extra for dinner tonight. No, wait, even better. If anyone gets this one right, I'll give them a piggyback ride so they don't have to walk the rest of the way to where we camp tonight, okay? Here we go. Get ready. Here it is. So, why did the noodle get a traffic ticket? Dave waited only a few seconds, then imitated a buzzer sound followed by the answer, "Buzz, 'cause it drove past the stop sign." Ronnie and Jeremy both claimed they were about to say that, while in reality they just wanted a free ride. Ronnie begged for another one, but Dave didn't have any. Of course, he wouldn't confess to that. No, you had your chance. Oh boy, I got tons of them, but nope, missed out on your chance. You done, boy. John claimed, "I'm not promising a back ride, but I have one. Did you ever hear about the guy that was addicted to drinking brake fluid? He could stop whenever he wanted." Dave commented as if he didn't really care about the joke, "That reminds me, what you got to drink there, Johnny boy?" John pulled the army canteen out of its holder on his hip and shook it. Dave commanded him, "Give it here, now!" John shook it even more vigorously, then threw it at Dave, the way Dave threw the jug of milk at him earlier. John continued to walk, but sped up his pace to put some distance between him and Dave. The other two, and Quasi, ran up ahead with John. Dave caught it, shook it himself to gauge how full it might be, then stopped walking as he opened it. When he broke the seal, soda sprayed out and all over Dave. John knew he might have to pay for that one somewhere down the road, but felt a certain amount of instant street justice or automatic karma. Dave let out a high-pitched, girly scream. Jeremy, as a witness, defended John. "You shouldn't have shook it, Dave." He concealed his laughter the best he could so he too wouldn't have to pay for it later. Dave began to jog a little to get back up to the front of the line. Stopping and getting soaking wet from the soda spray prank set him pretty far back. As if oblivious to what was happening, Ronnie was still in joke mode. How about the guy that was addicted to the hokey pokey? He was addicted to the hokey pokey, but he turned himself around and..." Jeremy joined in singing the last line with Ronnie. "That's what it's all about." They laughed, and the laughter and jokes came to a halt when Dave went running past his friends to not only get back up into the lead, but to put them far behind him. His running thrusted him smack dab into a spider web. This web wasn't just any web. It was so large, it covered the whole horizontal width of the paved trail, and then some. On to chapter 13.